After this game, I'll do my best. But here we go, we're jumping into the semifinals, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Golden R, we have the red Zerg player from Belarus representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Nikich. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss player representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. And if you're in the chats, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Honestly, I think this should be close. This should be very close here. Both Nikich and Shameless have been improving over the past year of play. If you've been following the channel, if you've been following StarCraft over the past, what, at this point, 10 months, you would have seen Shameless and Nikich performing very, very well in these online tournaments, either winning them entirely or having just deeper and deeper performances. In general, I would say that Shameless has been looking, I would say, a little bit better when it came to those overall results, but likewise, Nikich has also been on the rise. I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm hoping for an ace match. So far, we have had some back and forths, but more so these more one-sided series. Meanwhile, we have some more updates coming in. Eva is taking down Homono 2-0. Eva takes down Homono 2-0, and Eva is in the upper semis, waiting for the winner of Geralt and Rostock. Eva is waiting for the PvP. Once again, we did miss our Terran representative. For those who are unaware, typically when it comes to Terran performance in Sparkling Tuna Cup, it's players like Homono, players like Nikich, and players like Björn. And this week there was no Björn, this week there was no Nikich either. Homono did make it to the quarterfinals, but he met his end at the hands of Eva, so as a result, no Terran players in the semifinals, just purely Zerg and Protoss this week. I'm a little bit concerned. I haven't seen Nikich in like 2 weeks. Like, Nikich, he's one of our more regular players, and he wasn't here last week, he wasn't here this week. So, it's one of those things that I do notice. So, hopefully everything is okay from the side of Nikich. He's been doing really well. I have seen his results in other events, but maybe otherwise just preoccupied on Sundays now. It is possible. So, hoping to see the return of Nikich at some point in the coming weeks. As for now, Nikich will expand. Again, hatch gas pull into a third base, standard opener so far. Just droning up and saturating. So far, everything looking good. Likewise, Shameless behind this is setting up as well, going for a Stargate opener. Go. I see someone asking in the chat. Yes, as I did mention earlier, at the start of the year, when was the patch? Like March, April? But at the start of the year, there was a patch that specifically impacted PvP. That is why Sentry openers became more standard in the PvP matchup, because they specifically did more damage to shield-based units, or even and they also lost their light tags. So they take reduced damage from Adepts and Oracles. So yeah, as a result, Sentry openers are a lot more meta. They're a lot safer in PvP, and overall it was a good change. It did mean that PvP early game is a lot more stable than it once was, a lot less chaotic because of the power of the Sentry. It's why Sentries, like, they don't tickle anymore, or they do, but in PvP they don't. they can't tickle Protoss units. It's crazy. Yeah, as we did mention. Meanwhile, the Oracle dips into the main, gets 2 drones, is forced out. So far, good defense here out of Nikich, only losing a minimal amount of drones. Only 2 workers. Second Oracle has arrived, and we have a third Oracle behind this. Behind this, we also have Shameless expanding, taking a third. So just triple Oracle into a third Nexus. Everything is looking, I mean, so far at least, this is the most standard ZvP that we have encountered this entire tournament. We've had a lot of chaos. We've had some crazy like DT builds without a Robo. We've had some Glaive Adept builds as well. We've had a lot of aggression so far from our Korean Protoss players. But here, Shameless, he's showing us how to macro pack. Let's go. At least for now. Watch Shameless go like +1 charge into like an Archon all-in. Like it's... Still at, speaking of, yep, +1 in charge. Let's go. Now, with a charge-based opener like this, Shameless will have a window. He's going to have a strong timing available, especially if he goes for the Temple Archives to rush into Archon production. If you remember, we actually saw something similar earlier on Alcyone, but was it Alcyone? But instead, the Protoss player had rushed into Storm at the time and had gone for delayed Immortals and did end up falling early on. But this will be a very different kind of build here out of Shameless. Also, sorry, it wasn't Alcyone, it was Oceanborn, if you recall. It was the 3-base all-in 6/6 drone build on Oceanborn, if you recall. It was the EBA series. But here, there's a little more standard. Again, no crazy, like, double robo response. Prism is on the way. That's to, of course, reinforce with those Archons. Temple Archives is almost done. Zealots will soon be amassing. There's the Gateway Explosion. Oracle's keeping tabs on the 4th. Ling's moving out. 3rd base looking quite secure. Lings will poke in. But will be zoned away. So far, so good out of Shameless, but he does leave the door open. Oh no! Lings! Oh, they get in. The door is wide open. We flood into the natural waste. Probes are going to be going down. Shameless pulling a hero. The door was open. 6, 7 probes falling. 8 probes falling even. Almost up to 9. And this is getting out of hand already. That's 8 probe kills. We get a full scout of the main as well, confirming charge, of course. The Archons, even wasting energy in the main. Speaking of the Archons, they are headed into the main base of Nikich. They've got a lot of work to do. The Zealots are warping in, but the Roaches are getting ready. Roaches are in position. And they force the recall. Nikich, he's all over this. He's on 3-base saturation, on 6/6 drones. Plenty of Roaches. And Shameless has missed his window. As we mentioned before, like that was it. That was his moment. Was +1 and his Archons with that big warp in, and that was meant to do more. That was meant to get more done. Alas, it hasn't. And now Nikich has map control. He's moving out. He's going for the 4th. And it's going to be a tough hold here for Shameless. I do think that Shameless should be fine at his 3rd, but it's not about the 3rd. It's about the 4th. It's about containing the Protoss on 3 bases. We'll see if Nikich can pull this off. Does move out. Chasing back the Archons. Going for the expansion. Oh, the Queens have a... Oh my god, the German taxi! My apologies. Did miss the Queens. They do drop in. One of them goes down instantly. Creep is spreading. The Queens are here to transfuse the vials. Oh my god, bit of friendly fire. And again, the Queen's a little bit too far forward. Some of them are exposed. And Nikich, he's going for the kill. He doesn't care about the 4th base. He wants the 3rd. And he wants the natural. Again, did focus out most of the Archons. There's 1 Archon left, 1 Immortal remaining as well. The vials, ooh, they will connect. Oh, nice juggling though, saves the Immortal. Another Immortal has arrived. Reinforcements coming in for the surround. Another Archon falls. Oof, yeah, the vials, they shut down the site defense. Nikich breaking into the natural. Zealots coming in from behind. Just 2 Immortals remaining. And looks like with the help of reinforcements, Nikich, he should have enough. GG gets called, and Nikich, he will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. I glossed over the fact that Nikich was investing into Overlord speed. That would have been the tell that Nikich, of course, was getting ready for a Queen push alongside the Roach Ravager as well. It was a 3-base all-in. And again, Nikich did punish Shameless for his failed aggression. Oh, hold on. The tuna. Oh no, do I have enough time? I don't think I do. No. Yeah, not enough. Well, for the next game though, should be there. But we're jumping into game 2. Loading into Alcyone. But yeah, Shameless's initial build was meant to pop off with that +1, with the Archons, with the Zealots, but alas, Nikich did shut it down, and did snowball out of control with that counterattack, and here we go, we're getting into our next game. We're getting into game 2, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alcyone, and we have our red Zerg player from the land of Belarus representing the Platinum Heroes, leading the series 1-0. It is Nikich. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Protoss player representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. We go. Oh, the juice box. Stay hydrated. This is your reminder in the chat. Make sure you drink plenty of water. Make sure you stay hydrated. Beautiful. As we are building up. We are settling in. And again, we'll see if once again we can ever embrace the mid to late game here. Last game, Shameless being the aggressor, likewise falling to the counter aggression of Nikich. Moving out with his initial scouts and settling in. Hasn't figured out how to build a door. Smooch. Look, Protoss, they're just not used to these animals, Bobby. They're not used to, you know, people just coming in unwelcomed. They're not used to doors. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. But yeah, that is kind of how things started going south for Shameless. True, true. When it came to the wall being open, probes going down, a full scout of the main. Was all that kind of led into the initial failed aggression of Shameless. We'll see how things change here in game 2. We shall see. Now our players are calming things down. Likewise, Nikich pulling out of gas, just getting to link speed and joining up. And once again, we have Shameless going for a Stargate opener. So Stargate into Oracles into a third. As you saw in the previous game, just because the initial opener is standard doesn't mean that Shameless won't try to go for some charge lot aggression once again. But after what happened in game 1, I would not be surprised if Shameless does calm things down and deviates into Blink instead. You know, +1 Blink, into a third, into Robo Production or Storm, into something more standard. But we'll see. Talk to Hero. Hero's a different case though. Like Hero, he wants you, like he wants you to come in, Bobby. That's the difference. You know, you leave the door open and you get caught with your pants down. I leave my door open because I want them to come in, Bobby. We're not the same. More often than not, it's like, it's very impressive, but Hero, he always has like a warping available. He always has like a shield battery in the mineral line, and more often than not, whenever links flood into the natural for Hero, like he deals with it really well. Like it's crazy. It's very impressive. How time and time again links that get into the natural into the main and they would get no probe damage. It's crazy. Hero, he likes it. He likes it. Until it doesn't, right? Until it's one of those things where in a game, like he'd leave it open like 3 times, and it's the 3rd time that the Zerg actually gets damage done. So hospitable, exactly. Oh, there's the tuna. Ah, beautiful. Finally, we have the tuna in game. Oracles move out, they poke in towards the 3rd. Gonna get zoned away. And we will soon embrace our tech of choice. Keep an eye on Shameless. Still sharking around, looking for damage. We have 3 queens in the main. The spores in production. Likewise, 3 queens here at the 3rd base as well. So Nikich, he is more than prepared. Droning up, taking his gases. Back at home, Shameless going for Twilight Council and Forge. I'm assuming +1 and Blink this time, but we'll see. As Shameless is still looking for a way in. Hits the natural. Oh, gets a drone. Just the one. Leaves are ready here at the 3rd. So far, Nikich is holding. Saturating, taking extra gases. Eva chambers on the way. once again, Nikich, he is embracing Roach production. Meanwhile, Shameless, as you mentioned, going plus 1 and Blink. Plus 1 and Blink are on the way, something more standard. Gets 4 drone kills here at the third. And as we're kind of embracing a more standard setup and Shameless is establishing his third, we do have, Nikich going for a Spire. Let's go. We have a Spire on the way hidden behind the main. Is forced to delay his fourth. We did have a nice cancel here, so Shameless is getting some damage. Delays the fourth. Still poking in, trying to keep at least creep spread at bay. Getting to his big Stalkers. Extra gases are being taken, so it looks like Shameless should be teching and taking a fourth. This is not a 3-way all-in, and if Shameless is moving out with a hefty amount of Blink Stalkers, but should be teching behind this. Yeah, he's on 6 gates. Should be teching and expanding. There we go. 4th base is on the way. Shameless moving out. Knocking on that front door. Shaving off some Lings. Catching an Overlord. Nikich should be able to keep up. But again, this is all just applying pressure, denying creep, and containing Nikich, keeping him busy while Shameless expands. Like, this is not designed to kill. As he pokes up the ramp, trading with the roaches. Reinforcements have arrived. Shameless, he can poke in, he will catch a queen. Not bad. Queen does fall. Behind this, working towards charge, +2, gateway explosion, and storm. We have our splash damage of choice. It's going to be storm, not Colossus. Shameless again just dancing with the main army. As Nikich is keeping this army distracted, here come the mutas. Remember, there was no scout in the main base. The Spire has not been seen. Oracles are making their way towards the fourth. No Spore, no Queens. Drones can go down. Queens do zone away. Mutas being sent towards the left-hand side. Back at home, there's going to be a shield battery and a cannon here at the third base, the main base. Now we have cannons on the way. It looks like the mutas haven't spotted. And we're getting ready with Phoenixes. Phoenix production has begun. Stalkers a race back home. Shameless, he does back off, and that means that Nikich can freely drone. He can saturate. He has control of his side of the map. And mutas, they've still not quite pulled the trigger. I mean, again, Shameless is ready. Looks like he did spot the mutas as they were spawning out. As he was in between the bases. Being Roach headed towards the fourth. Storm is done. Storms, yeah, they shut down the Lings. Files don't quite connect. Mutas, they head into the main. But there is a Phoenix. And there are those Stalkers as well. Yeah, Mutas coming in, but last they're going to be trapped. Stalkers everywhere. The Mutas pinned between the fourth and the main. And these mutas, they have not done enough damage. Oh my god. So many mutas going down. Shameless, he's all over this. And these are expensive losses here for the Zerg. And Nikich bleeding out too much. And you can see behind this, Nikich trying to get out of mutas into lurkers. He's attempting to take into Hydrovoker Viper. Loses every single muta. Oh, that was, what, 10 mutas going down. Some brutal losses. Shameless is secure. Shameless, he's on a 4-base economy. 80 probes. Shameless has the better economy. Has a massive army. And when Shameless does decide to move out, Nikich is going to be in trouble. He's going to be in trouble here. He needs those lurkers. And there's not much keeping Shameless pinned back at home, to be honest. That's where the roaches come in. Nikich, he knows he has to get rid of these roaches. Going for a roach counterattack. And this is just buying time. Buying precious seconds here to finish up those lurkers. There we go. 9 lurkers in production. At the same time, Ling Roach hitting the fourth. Again, all just distracting. Buying time. Can't afford to lose too much, though. Has to be careful. Ooh, Ravagers are being targeted down. And here comes a counterattack. Shameless, he will completely clean up this army. And how many lurkers are there to defend? Lurkers getting in position, but they're exposed. Yeah, the lurkers are on their own. We have the revelation, we have storms. Lurkers are holding. They're barely holding on, but Shameless, he's maxed out. And I do think that Nikich, he lost too much. He lost a little bit too much there in that aggression. He needs support here for the lurkers. Hydras are on the way, Roaches are on the way. But Shameless is maxed. Nikich needs time. Nikich does need more time. Shameless, meanwhile, transitioning into Skytoss. Stargates are on the way, Fleet Beacon as well. Working towards carriers. Workers getting in position. Ooh, as Shameless does take some rough trades there. Takes Spine Shield to the face, and you can see Nikich is building up more lurkers. Just massing lurker as best he can. Shameless rotating around, rotating towards the new fresh 5th base. Prism falls. Only 3 lurkers. That's not going to be enough. They'll go the rest do rotate. Nikich trying to get over. But so many lurkers already going down. Yeah, the storms are brutal. And Shameless, he breaks through, takes down every single lurker. There's 2 lurkers left. 1 lurker remaining. Oh my god, the 1 lurker does force back the army. At the same time, a massive Ling Roach counterattack gets across the map. Nikich does lose his expansion, did lose most of the lurkers. He's getting damage done. There we go, forces the recall. Nikich has to get out of here, has to pull away. And what's terrifying is that as both players take some losses, Shameless still has the better economy, has a goal base up and running, and Shameless has Skytoss. He's making 3 carriers at a time, motherships on the way as well. And Nikich doesn't really have much anti-air. Not anymore. He lost all the lurkers, he has no hydras, he's counterattacking with roaches again just to buy time. And I believe Nikich is unaware of the Skytoss. He hasn't spotted any of the fresh Stargates. Hasn't spotted the Fleet Beacon. Nikich is in the dark. He's still massing more lurkers. There's no Spire. There's no Corruptors. And once the Skytoss arrives, Shameless, he should be able to run away with this. It's going to be on Nikich, again, to try to distract. Try to keep the Skytoss army pinned back home. Going for the Nidus Worm. Okay. I see you. I mean, that can work. Going for the Nidus. He can try to camp the production. Only 3 carriers so far. Nidus does complete, and the lurkers are going for the main base. Recalls on cooldown. It was just used. The Oracle does spawn in. And you can see Shameless does not turn around. Shameless is committed. It's going to be 12 Hydras against those 3 carriers. And slow zone on the lurkers. I just pinned against the wall. Oh, and storms are coming in as well. There's so many high tempo behind this. And it looks like Shameless, he should have enough. Yeah, GG gets called. He snowballs out of control, and Shameless will tab the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. GG. GG, well played. We're going to game 3. Again, we did see that Nikich, he definitely had some opportunities here in this game, but he was quite committed earlier. For him to lose all of his lurkers was a brutal moment for him. Even before that as well, he lost so much Roach Ravager. He lost a lot of momentum. He lost a lot of map control. Nikich, it felt like he was kind of one step behind for a lot of this game. Shameless did play it out well. Was able to take it from there. Now we're going all the way to game number 3. Let's go. Going to game 3. Oh. And we'll see how this story ends. I believe we're getting the ace match for the first time tonight. For the first time in tonight's broadcast. I'm here for it. Hopefully not the last either. Hopefully. But even before that, of course, we spoke about the muta play. Like, up until then, it was pretty even between our players, but there was a big commitment from our Zerg player to rush into 10 mutas. And if you remember, the mutas didn't really get much damage done. They were able to get a handful of probe kills, but not much else. They got scattered in time. Shameless was able to respond with cannons, with shield batteries, with plenty of Blink Stalkers in position as well. And after the mutas were cleaned up, I mean, that's the moment that we spoke about how vulnerable our Zerg player was. That is when we saw Nikich trying to transition into Lurker tech, and he had to buy time, and in the process of doing so, he lost a lot of he lost all of his Roach Ravager, which did set him behind. And with that, GG, well played. Now we're getting into game 3. It's going to be on Oceanborn. Let's go. Let us go. Oh, hello, Mastermind Cute. True. I did have I actually had a haircut yesterday. It's getting into summer here. I guess there's not many people from Australia watching at the moment, but here in Australia, we're headed into summer, so the days are getting hotter. Especially coming into December, like things can get quite intense here in Australia, as you can imagine. So I had too much hair, Papi. Too much hair. I did have a haircut yesterday. Oh, the Mastermind. Oh, you noticed. Oh, hi, Papi. But here we go. Getting into game 3. Still windy and cold, yeah. I mean, that's Australian weather for you, I guess. It's But here we go, we're getting into the ace match, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our red Zerg player from Belarus representing the Platinum Heroes. Being forced into the ace match, can he bring it back? It is Nikich. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the blue Protoss player representing Team Little Fairy, tying up the series. Can he take it to the end? It is Shameless. Here we go. As Shameless has thrown down the juice box. The juice is here. Hydrate yourselves. As we are moving out. Leave my chest alone. You're all animals. Animals. And it's always risky. It's always a risky move going into muta play. As you can imagine, it's high risk, high reward. If the Spire isn't scattered, if the mutas aren't scattered, then mutas, they can just pop off and wreak havoc across the map and deal critical damage and keep the Protoss player pinned, and it just snowballs from there. Or as we saw, the opposite occurs. If the opponent scouts, then they're secure, they shut it down into Phoenixes, into Mass Blink Stalker, and suddenly the Zerg player falls behind as they invested quite heavily into that tech and didn't really pay off in the end. I imagine we're going to be staying away from mutas this time for Nikich. I imagine. Meanwhile, when it comes to updates, looks like we do have one. Looks like we have Geralt taking down Rostock 2-1. Geralt does advance on to the upper semifinals, where he's going to be facing off against the winner, or I'll say the winner of Iba versus Homono. It looks like Iba did take the series against Homono, but Iba is going to be forfeiting, so a bit of a feels bad man there. As Iba does forfeit and Homono does advance on to the semifinals, where he faces off against Geralt. The reason why there's a walkover, even though Iba won, is most likely because of the team game tournament. There is a team game event happening. I think it just started actually, or it's starting in like 10 minutes. So it is starting up soon. And I believe Iba is going to be competing in, I think it's a 3v3 tournament that Wardy is hosting. So Iba will not be able to play out at those semifinals. Or finals as well if you got there. So it is a feels bad man. I would have loved to have seen some Iba later on as well. But there was a walkover. Smooch. And because of that event that's going on, the upper semis is going to be played at the same time. So Geralt versus Homeowner their series has begun. Series has begun as Adepts they shade into the main. Headed towards the mineral line. Two dip ins so far, trading well. They took down the Lings, they denied mining time. Getting quite a bit of damage done. They get a drone. They get one, they get two. Oh, almost a third. 2 drone kills. Not bad. Nikich responding with a surge of Lings. Gonna be moving out. At the same time, Shameless, of course, expanding back at home. His third base is on the way, but this third base is very exposed. Again, Shameless, he just threw away his Adepts. The Adepts are thrown away. The Lings have arrived, and can they force a cancel? There is a second Oracle. More Lings are flooding out. The Oracle has not activated his Pulsar Beam yet. There we go. Does force the activation. Lings, they back off. Trying to wait out the Pulsar Beam. Oh. And the beam was deactivated. No, the third! The third is going to be cancelled. It's going to be close. It's going to be close, but it looks like we will force a cancel in the end. Oh, God! Oh, my God. And Shameless has to restart. The Oracles, they race back home. Nikich has defended. Now, that was a bit of a give and take. On the one hand, it is really nice to see the third base being denied the way that we saw. On the flip side, though, the drone counts. Nikich had to invest quite heavily into Lings to make that happen, so the drone count is a little bit lower as a result. Is now droning up. Oracle's the third, no Spore! No Spore, no Queen in position. 3 drones gonna be falling. Well, I say that, 2 drones. Okay, they're getting a third, getting a fourth, forcing 2 Spores. 4 drone kills is brutal. And a cancelled Spore. At the same time, Oracles, they hit the natural, getting another drone. So again, denying that third base, it wasn't for free. Has allowed for all this damage to be dealt. Nikich taking into his lair. Still trying to drone. We have 12 Lings on the way. That is a lot of Lings. Gonna keep up with the Adepts. That's not so good. Adepts, they cancel the shade. One Adept goes down. Nikich now droning up. He is keeping up with the Adepts. But again, Shameless, he has recovered. You know, despite having a delayed third base, he was able to deal some counter damage. He was able to wreak havoc. Did do quite well for himself. Likewise, Oracles, they get across the map. They get 3, 4 more drones. Oh my god, 4 more drones! Shameless, he's not done. 14 worker kills in total. Ay, ay, ay. Far too much damage. And Shameless still has all 3 Oracles alive. I may have spoken too soon. Okay, we're good. The Oracle takes a lot of hits. A lot of hits, actually. But does back up. Nikich rushing into an infestation pit. Interesting choice here from our Zerg player. 4th base on the way. Nikich, he's droned up to 3 base saturation. I'm curious what the plan is going to be here. Are we rushing into a hive, or are we rushing into something like Swarm Hosts? Against Blink Stalkers, I'm hoping it's just the tech. I'm hoping it's just the hive. Things move out. 4th base is cancelled. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, and again, Nikich, he may have just lost too much economy early on. Stalkers forcing their way in. This was not designed to kill, but it gets economic damage. 3 drones go down. Going for the Ravagers. Gets one of them. Gets 2. And greedy pickups here by Shameless. But he can't afford it. And at this point, Nikich, he has to be all in. He's stuck on 3 bases. He's amassing more Lings, amassing more Roaches. Close on range is almost done. Lings, they do get across the map, but there's an army here to defend. I say that Lings, they want the 3rd. They're not going to get it. Not quite. Lings go down. It is going to be for Swarm Hosts. That's what we assumed. Swarm Hosts on the way. Nida Swarm as well. Now, the reason why Swarmhost can be okay in this, the reason why Swarmhost makes sense is because Nikich has a very limited economy, very limited, and Swarmhost can be very cost efficient. So this does make sense, but at the same time, it's going to be difficult to make this work just because Shameless has map control. He has so many oracles, stasis traps, blink stalkers as well. Against this kind of Protoss, Swarmhost can struggle. If this was Chargeur Archon, different story. That is towards the left. That is Swarm is on the way. You can see the oracles are on patrol. They do spot the main army. Nida Swarm is spotted. And stasis trap setting up. Shield batteries as well. And we'll see what Nikich can get done. Okay, they get the High Templar. Up. Oh, never mind. He lands, stasis goes off. Likewise, stasis on the right-hand side as well. Shameless is shutting this down. Nikich does establish a 4th base. Ooh, and the oracles are left on patrol. Not bad. 3 oracles go down. They were left patrolling. Likewise, Nikich still takes a storm to the face. Has to pull away. Second Locust Wave is about to be prepared. It's about to be ready. And Nikich is somewhat recovering economically. I mean, he's working towards Lurker Tech. He's trying to get there. Ooh, Locust Wave was forced out by 1 Stalker. So it was on a move. And doesn't really get much done. Oh. And over time, really it's the first and second Locust Wave that need to get damage done because the Protoss Wave is going to be more and more secure as time goes on. And alas, it's still looking a little bit bleak here for Nikich. He does have a comparable army size, but a lot of that supplies in Swarmhost, a lot of that supplies in Roaches. Lurker production has begun. Locust Wave towards the left-hand side. Oh my god. Some decent storms. Locust are headed into the mineral line. Probes are going down. At the same time, Shameless doesn't care. He's just pushing right down mid. Now, bearing in mind that those Swarm hosts are now on cooldown. So there is a window where Nikich has that much less supply to work with. Well, that is a lot of lurkers. He's got how many? 11. 11 lurkers to defend. Oh no, they get caught out! Oh, down to 10. That's 3, 4, almost 5 lurkers falling. Ay, ay, ay. Not the best start. Storm pops up. Oh my, massive storms on the army. Nikich does take them to the face. Attempted to reposition. No detection yet. Results into the natural. Likewise, another Locust Wave towards the 3rd, or 4th even. Going for the Nexus. And I believe they can get it. Shameless still rotating. Nexus does barely survive. Overcharge putting in a lot of work. And here we go, the Observer has arrived. Now he has detection. Storm going up. Shameless rotating. So everyone might find Zenitis. Are trying to keep up. Sky Toss on the way. He's getting into Sky Toss. Nida Swarm is cleaned up on the right hand side. Oh yeah, we do opposition to the Zerg player. Hatchery goes down. There's massive storms here on the lurkers. Oh my god, the storms are brutal. The storms are insane. And Nikich takes everything to the face. Ay, ay, ay. That was 5 lurkers going down. 4 lurkers even. Has been 10 in total. Nikich still trying to keep up. Still focused on an anti-ground army. Shameless taking an odd expansion, but I mean, he has no detection. Had to wait for the creep. So I'll say force a Locust Wave. Storms are ready. Storm on the ramp. Nikich, I mean, we're running out of storms. Nikich can get on top of this. But the carriers have arrived. And Nikich is not ready for those carriers. Spire, I believe, just finished. No Vipers. Shameless still looking for a way in. Oh my god! Runs into the lurkers. Does have a bit of a misstep. Shameless does rotate. Again, both armies are maxed, and Shameless doesn't actually have the most amount of Sky Toss yet. As I say that, catches 3 more lurkers. There we go. Had 3, now soon to be 6. Even 7 carrier. Carrier count is getting higher and higher. And the anti-air is still lacking here for Nikich. He does have a handful of Corruptors, but only 8. And these are vanilla Corruptors. They have 0/0 upgrades. Corruptors are not quite ready. Shameless pushing in. Corruptors going for the dive, at least trying to. But plenty of Archons, plenty of Storm. The Corruptors, they can't get close. So the Rumbai takes down the 5th. Shameless still repositioning. Still rotating. Kills the 5th expansion. Make sure there's no backup 5th base. Going for the Nidus Swarm. The Stormers! No! Oh my god. Do you get away? Managed to get away. Nikich trying to catch one of these stray carriers. Oh, we'll be able to. Never mind. Never mind. Mothership comes in with a cloak. Saves the carrier. Shameless is maxed. Nikich still stuck with Roaches, Ravagers, and still stuck with Stormhost. Again, still has the subpar army. But now we built up towards 15 Corruptors, not bad. Pretty hefty Corruptor counts. They have +1 air carapace as well. Shameless throw away some of his units. Doesn't quite need them. Instead he rotates, knights the 5th base once again. Like, Nikich doesn't really have an economy behind this. Doesn't have much of a gas bank. It's one and done here for Nikich. And he does have some Vipers. 2 Vipers now with the main army. They can abduct, they can parasitic bomb. There is a chance they can take a fight. But more lurkers getting caught out. But I mean, Nikich, he has been refining his army. Like, it's actually looking quite threatening now. Gets going, gets some Mothership. Mothership goes down. Nice pickup. Lurkers pushing forward. Nice storm here on the Lings. And the Lurkers as well. Once again, the storm was brutal. Shameless taking it slow, taking his entire half of the map. Again, Shameless, he can slowly trade as he has a bank to work with. Oh. I was concerned. Shameless, come, don't scare me like that. I was worried he was like, suddenly GG? Did open the chat box accidentally. Does go for the feedbacks. Likewise, rotating over. High Templar getting on top of those Corruptors. Massive storms. And again, because there are so many High Templar Corruptors, they cannot touch this army. Not like this. This is typically where if Nikich had a better economy and had any kind of map presence, we could see a greater Spire and Brood Lords and have something that could threaten the ground army. That's where, I mean, that's the role of the Lurkers, but the Lurkers are stationary. Brood Lords have a little bit more flexibility, likewise so would Ultras, but again, like, Nikich can't afford any of that. Nikich doesn't have the luxury of teching in those kind of directions. Nikich, he's stuck with Hydra Lurker, Viper Corruptor instead. As Nikich now has +2. Oh, gets High Templar. Nice yoinks as well. Gets 2 carriers. Very nice pickups. Shameless retreating. Getting into a larger carrier count. Meanwhile, the Stormers are finally caught. They're finally caught. Getting a High Templar at least. That's okay. Yeah, this fixed expansion should never get up and running. It should never happen. Base goes down. Lurker's going for the dive, forcing a recall. Oh, gets 1. Oh, and we actually recall towards the natural. Sniping another expansion. Yeah, the natural goes down. Nidastorm as well. Now there is actually a defensive recall available, and Shameless, he goes for it. He goes for the second recall. Does escape, losing 1 Archon. So very efficient trades. Lost the Oracle. Shameless cashing the move out. Oh my god. Getting 2 Lurkers, feedbacks to Vipers as well. Shameless, I mean, he's all over this. Nikich desperately long distance mining, desperately trying to get this 5th base. He needs an economy, as he's out of gas. He is out of gas. He can try to contest against the Sky Toss. Get some mothership. We'll get a carrier as well. Not bad. Carrier goes down, getting a second. Oh, barely nuts. Never mind. And because there's so many corruptors, now we're getting to Void Ray production instead to help support. It's going mass Void Ray. Zealots, they get into the mineral line. The 1 Zealot. And again, there is a chance that Shameless takes a really bad fight if he overextends. If he bleeds out his High Templar, for example, initially. There are no storms, but oh my god. He's so on top of those feedbacks. Takes out the Vipers, storms the Corruptors, and yeah, we're snowballing out of control. We're going for the fight. There's nothing holding Shameless back. Oh my god, the spread of the Corruptors is not enough. There are just so many storms. GG gets called, and Shameless will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Shameless will take it in the end. Again, was able to gain quite a bit of map control here as well. If you recall, we saw that Shameless, he was able to, even before any kind of map control, the reason for that, his economic damage early on, Shameless, he was able to get 14 plus drone kills in the early game to Oracle Harass and to Adept Harass. It was insane how much economic damage he dealt. On top of that, we had Nikich investing quite heavily earlier on as well to Lings, to army units that weren't quite able to get enough counter damage, and because that Shameless did have the greater early to mid game, was able to just gain map control and just eventually starve Nikich out. Nikich just could not hold his own, could not keep up. He was kind of stuck 1 step behind against his opponent. GG. GG, well played. Shameless does take it, and he is our first finalist, and the question becomes who will face off against him in those grand finals.